Hey guys, this is my 1JZ 350Z drift car that we've just finished building after a year and a half, and I just thought I would do a little rundown and what went into the build and how we got it to fit in here, how well it fits and everything like that. So back in 2021, S13 had a CA, her engine blew up. So we decided to take on this project, and it's been about a year and a half in the making of just accumulating all the parts and trying to figure out how to get a JZ to fit into a 350Z. So a little bit about the 350Z, they do have a CDO9, which is a very, very strong manual gearbox that comes stock factory with these guys here. But mine was actually just a rolling shell, so I actually didn't have the box. So this setup in here is a 1JZ with a T56, which is a Holden Commodore box. At the time, I was going to put a CDO9 back in this one, but a T56 came up for really cheap. It was a steal, so I had to jump on that. And I also know that the Castlemaine conversion for a T56 and 1JZ was cheaper than the MazWorks CDO9 to 1JZ conversion. Anyways, enough of me talking. I will lift the hood and I will show you what the JZ looks like. Mind you, we do have this little guy here. This is, what we call my little commander-in-chief. He sits in the hood exit just to stop anything from falling in there accidentally. We'll get him over here and he can be the little toolbox commander-in-chief. So this is the 1JZ that fits snugly inside the 350Z. As you guys may or may not know, the build was actually sponsored by HALTECH for the electronics. So we've got the 6 IGN18 coils here with a bracket I got from America. That bracket was from MOTORSPORTS engineering, but they were very slow with postage and their communication was horrible. But then feel free, it does sit well and it does fit well. We also have some MSD leads because the HALTECH coils do require leads to go down to the spark plug. So the car actually runs an Elite 2500 with an IC7 race dash and all the HALTECH sensors that you can possibly think of, or that I needed anyways. So we've got the fuel pressure sensor and we've got the water temp sensor down here. We've also got the oil sensors down in there, but I can't see those. I did get a full universal loom from HALTECH as well, which ASG installed and very nicely wrapped up for me. That is like a fabric wrap. It feels so good, but they wired the entire car for me. As you can see, it's very neatly done. They also did all the sensors down in here as well, all the injector plugs. A bit of a quick rundown on what the car has. It's a PULSAR, which also came on board with the build. We've got a G35 1050 here with a 1.01 rear housing on that one. And we have got the hood exit, which was done by Fat Pipes Custom Exhaust in Kalanga, I think it is. We got the PLAZMAMAN intake with the PLAZMAMAN rail, 1650cc injectors on E85 with a GFB fuel pressure regulator, and I love this one because it is -8 and my lines are -8, therefore there is no restriction as if I was to run another style of fuel pressure regulator. So I love that, and it's also got all the threads and ports for your sensors and stuff like that. We've also got a 6-boost manifold with a GFB 50mm wastegate going out to a screamer dumped on the ground because I didn't have time to dump it out the hood before Matsuri. So as you can see, they fabricated my intercoil piping, which has PLAZMAMAN clamps as well because we don't want silicone, because I have had troubles with silicons popping off, but it's a very tight fit down in there and they managed to make it fit really snugly and really well. We are running a drive-by-wire throttle body, and as well the 1JZ power steering pump with this remote reservoir fitting, which feeds to the 1JZ res, which was actually mounted on the pump, but we mounted it here. We have got an R33 radiator in here with true eBay thermos. I will have to change those to like Falcon thermos or something, because these just are not strong enough at all. ASG also welded an AN onto my water neck here so that we could run the water feed straight off the water neck. Breathers on top, which are very neatly routed back to the back of the engine down to here, which the catch can sits under the intake very nicely. You can't even notice that it's there at all. We have a HKS belt, the Golby's cam gears, clear timing cover. We have an LS alternator down there as well. Oh, and it's also got a Ross balancer with clearance. We had no clearance issues whatsoever, and we did not have to beat on anything. We did not have to cut anything. It all just slotted in nicely. For the engine mounts, we used the Collins adapter mounts, which are in America, I believe. So we did get those ones sent over, and they were really quick in postage and really easy to deal with. So I definitely recommend those. The Collins also do an adapter kit for the CD to the 1JZ. So if you have a CD already, you could get the engine mounts and the adapter kit already all from Collins. They do a kit with a clutch as well. But again, because I have the T56, we did the Castlemane bell housing with a custom made NPC twin plate clutch and flywheel from NPC as well. You see the box up there still. We are now at the back of the car. For the most important stuff is the fuel system. So for the fuel system, we are running E85 with this, I think it's 30-litre fuel cell. ASG were nice enough to wire in a fuel level gauge, which I didn't have and I didn't even think of. So we've got all our fueling set out here with our pumps down there to feed the surge tank, our filter and pump to feed the surge tank. And from the surge tank to the engine to the return to the everything, to the lines everywhere. As well, ASG Motorsports did do the firewall there, which they've made with some rubber stripping to seal directly to the hatch, because I did tell them that is so heavy. I did tell them that I still wanted some visibility out the back, so you can see that's where it is, and I've still got all that visibility up there. And because I'm still learning and I don't know everything about cars, I'm going to share with you guys my mistakes, which was I hosed the car in a panic before Matsuri because I wanted to wash it, and I didn't realize that there was a big hole where the stock loom used to go, and water got in that because I didn't have a grommet in there, and it went down the wires into my HALTECH ECU, and we're wondering why my throttle wasn't working. Pulled out the ECU, tipped it, and it was like a cup. Heaps of water came out, and I was like, oh my gosh, I fried my ECU. Like, I was in a panic that I fried it. So my mate who came from ASG to help me out on the day, because it was like setup day and I was like panicking, he was like, no, it's fine. I'm like, what do you mean it's fine? I like fried my ECU. And he's like, no, HALTECH is tough. And I was like, what do you mean? He emptied it out, blew it out, let it dry for a little bit, plugged it back in, and it was like brand new. Like, just, it didn't even care. And I was so shocked. I was like, wow, like it basically filled up with water and it's fine. Like, it's a week later, it's fine. It's Matsuri, it's fine. Like, it's like it never even happened. And I pulled the prongs out today because I did get some electrical cleaner to clean it, and they were fine. Like, there's like a tiny little bit of corrosion on like that green looking stuff, but like it is fine. And I cleaned it out, and I'm gonna go plug it in now so I can turn the car on and show you what the IC7 looks like. But yeah, like, not everyone knows everything until they do it themselves, because I actually had the car what I thought was 90% finished, and I handed it to ASG 3 weeks before Matsuri, and I was like, hey, I need it wired in, and I need a firewall, and I need everything finished. I need it running, I need it tuned, and I need it ready to race. And they're like, okay, like 3 weeks, really? And like out of those 3 weeks, there's weekends, and the owner also had a race to go to on the same weekend as me, and I was like, yeah, get it done in 3 weeks, please, thanks. Like, I know it was a massive ask, but at the time I didn't think it was, because I thought the car was more complete than it actually was. and there was so many things that I didn't know or forgot to do that they had to actually redo and fix because I just don't know. Like, and now that I've done it and they told me what I did wrong and they explained and they showed me what they did, now I know. So for future reference, when I do decide to do the S13 again, I know what to look out for and just what to double check. Anyways, let's get into the cabin of the 350Z. Another thing I will mention is this is actually where the T56 came out stock. There's no adapter here to make it fit. It actually comes out in the exact same spot as what the CD would, but a little bit further forward, but not too much. But for the most part, we didn't have to cut anything or do anything there. ASG did put in my little switch panel with my boost control and my launch control on it because I do plan to take the car to power cruises and stuff like that, as well as my GKTECH handbrake, which we made a custom mount for because the one that sits here is too far. I don't know, it just feels weird for me, but even this feels weird for me. I don't know, I gotta find something comfortable. But anyways, yeah, I will turn the dash on. So this is what the IC7 looks like when it is first turned on. ASG has put their little logo there. So it has like everything you could want. This flicks between the screens. So you have your, oops, I turned that on. So this is like your more in-depth screen with more of the readings than what this original screen, which is kind of just, I can make it go back. This is kind of just like your revs and your speed kind of thing, which is easier to look at for me. You do have the option to switch between and just pick anything that really suits your style. You can customize the logo as you see for the ASG. You can customize that. You can customize the colors. You can customize what this says. You see the firewall from inside here as well. That is my visibility at the back, and that is the firewall. The car also has a GKTECH super lock lower control arm lock kit. Because of the ECU thing that I told you about earlier with it filling up with water, I actually couldn't make my alignment before Matsuri, so it was kind of just like an eyeball alignment, and it was actually terrible. It was just so off and so wrong. It needs to be professionally done, but at the time I'd already paid for my ticket, already at the trailer. Why not just go there and even just show the car and just display the car? We want to see some clearance, so that is the intake. The clearance on that side. The clearance at the back is really good. And then the clearance of the turbo with the little aeroflow beanie, that is pretty tight as well, but again, we didn't need to hit anything. Car also has a dual caliper mounting bracket from GKTECH with the GKTECH dual caliper handbrake lines, with a second set of just stock 350Z brakes. This 350Z has the touring style brakes, not the Brembo brakes. The car does run these rims here, wheels, whatever you want to call them. They're Hustlers, Fake Works, I don't know. I just bought them because I wanted white on white and they were cheap. And as well, my mate from ECSTATIK gifted me these wheels here to skid on. I will put a picture of those and a link in my bio. I run them on the Skyline while I'm not drifting the 350 because they look nice. We spent over $2,000 in braid and fittings. And when you read and hear about people saying, oh, it's 2,000 in fittings, 2,000 in braid, it is actually 2,000 in fitting and braid. Every single fitting and line to go on every single, you need adapter fittings. And then the push lock fitting or the braid end fitting. And then you need the braid on top of that. And you want Teflon braid, you want rubber braid. So we got the Aeroflow 500 series fuel line because I really like the feeling of that line. It's like a fabric feel, and I did run it on the S13. I did like it. I don't like braid, each to their own, but you can't see the rubber inside the braid if it is cracking. Whereas rubber, I can see if there's a problem, and it's not near anything hot, so why not? Another thing we had to do was we had to get a custom clutch adapter, which I just went to any brake store, any clutch store, and just ask them, just take them some threads, just be like, hey, I needed this to go into the slave inside the T56 out to where the stock 350Z clutch was. So it's like a custom part that I had to go out and explain and try and find. And you guys might know him, some of you might not, but Dave Stevens built this engine at ASG. ASG have hired him. He does a lot with Jay-Z's, and he has worked with a lot of Jay-Z's over the years, so it was very good to have him on with this build. We had a lot of positive feedback when people did see the car at Matsuri. They were surprised how well it fit. They loved how it looked. I think I will make a part 2 to this, just describing how much everything costs. And if you guys have any questions, let me know. I can answer them too. If you want to know anything about Jay-Z swapping your 350Z, I might be able to answer some of your questions. So just shoot them through, comment them, or message me on Instagram if you have any questions. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will try and make a part 2 to this. I know I haven't been uploading like crazy lately, but we were in a time crunch to get the car done. Hopefully this year, with a bit more racing coming up and the car actually working, I'll be able to film a lot more and show you guys a lot more on-track action. And if I see you guys out on track, hopefully I'll be able to take you guys out on some rides and just share the build with you guys, because so many people helped me build this and helped me get here, and I just want to help you guys have some fun. Huge thanks to everyone involved in the build, and huge thanks to you guys for coming along with me and being interested in the build. Yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.